What's up, everybody? Welcome to the NFL Hub, where we cover the past, present, and future of the game of football. While the game of football really only meant the NFL here on the NFL Hub, there's going to be something we're going to be covering today that doesn't really fit that agenda. Now, this video does have some implications of the NFL, but this really is focusing on the new football league that is in town. That's the XFL, the spring football league that has been playing for the past couple of weeks, showing fans a huge amount of action. That's what we're covering today. The revamped XFL, the newest attempt at a spring football league, has been brought to the national spotlight, and that said spotlight will result in success. The season started the week after the Super Bowl, so it caters to the fan that craves more football after the NFL season ends. The XFL plays a 10-week season with 2 playoff games going through the month of April, an additional 3 months of football. That caters well to fans of the country's most followed sport. The XFL is also very financially abled. Compared to other leagues rivaling the NFL, the XFL is backed by Vince McMahon's $500 million investment, with the league being ran by a football mind in Oliver Luck. There is stability at the top, whereas other leagues did not have that stability that the revamped XFL does. An example of that would be the AAF. The XFL has been away from the game for years, and those in charge were able to learn and educate themselves on the proper way to orchestrate a league. They've been put themselves in a better position than any other organization to be successful. Another reason the league will be successful is because of the TV deals they have secured with ABC, ESPN, and Fox, while before, the XFL was not broadcasted on a national stage weekly. The XFL only has 8 teams for now, which fits perfectly as it is selected markets where the NFL already has or has had teams in New York, LA, Houston, Dallas, Tampa, Washington, St. Louis, and Seattle, fan bases that are craving more football, which is exactly what the XFL provides. I gave you a quick basis of what the XFL is and a couple of reasons as to why I believe it will succeed. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you some reasons as why the XFL can compete with the NFL and can succeed unlike non-NFL leagues like the AAF. The first thing I would like to talk about is innovation. And this is pretty much going to be the complete topic of this video. Innovative ways the XFL has put themselves in position to compete with the NFL. The first thing I would like to talk about are kickoffs. The biggest talking point from the opening weekend slate revolved around a play that's becoming an afterthought at the NFL level. 2 years ago, the league made significant changes to kickoffs in an attempt to decrease the likelihood of concussions. Running starts by the kickoff team, wedges, and blocking within the first 15 yards from the line of scrimmage were all eliminated. These preventative measures were meant to decrease the likelihood of concussions, and they worked in varying degrees. In the rule's first year of implementation, the NFL reduced its concussion rate on kickoffs by 35%, per the Washington Post's Mark Mask. The progress made that year became a significant step in the right direction regarding player safety. Unfortunately, the new rules also incentivized special team units to not return kickoffs, since a touchback now results in an automatic ball placement at the 25-yard line instead of the traditional 20-yard startup, thus effectively neutralizing the play in most instances. Last season, 24 of 32 NFL squads had more than 50% of their kickoffs result in touchbacks, according to team rankings. A once excited play became routine. 7 kickoffs returned into touchdowns in 2019. 10 years prior, 18 touchdowns occurred via kickoff returns. What if the NFL can have the best of both worlds, increase safety without kickoffs becoming an afterthought? The XFL showed that this is attainable by shirking long-term attempted practices. When an XFL team lines up for a kickoff, the alignment can be jarring for longtime football fans because of all the players, except for the kicker, are beyond the line of scrimmage. The coverage team lines up on the return's 35-yard line, while the return team lines up at its own 30-yard line. None of these players can move until the returner receives the kick. As such, collisions are held to a minimum because of the short starting distance between the two sides. Plus, strategy plays a part to make kickoffs far more interesting. Now, XFL teams can run set plays like traps, X-blocks, and others to try to create a crease for the returner, as you can see in this video here. Furthermore, the XFL penalizes kicking teams that attempt to place the ball in the end zone for a touchback, pretty much eliminating the ability to be a complete pansy. A major touchback in the end zone results in the ball being placed at the 35-yard line. Any ball kicked out of bounds or that falls short of the 20-yard line results in a ball placement at the kicking team's 45-yard line. Essentially, if you kick the ball, if you're the kicker and it goes into the end zone, your team is screwed. Basically, the XFL made sure kickoffs are a significant play while still making player safety a priority. The XFL making kickoffs exciting and relevant again are just one of the innovations put in place to make the league more exciting and watchable for the fans. Another fan favorite is better officiating. The NFL's officiating issues have been very apparent over the years and never seem to get better. The horrid pass interference review rule put into place this year was a laughingstock, as even when there were obvious PIs being reviewed, they never got overturned. Thanks, Al Riveron. You can die. Anyway, extra officials. While the idea of adding extra officials to both on-field crew and up in the press box isn't groundbreaking, their utilization continues to show how the NFL clearly hasn't done enough to improve in this specific area. The XFL employs both a ball judge, whose primary job it is to speed up the placement of the ball, and a sky judge, once made famous by the failed AAF. Due to a number of recent retirements by established referees, coupled with an ever-expanding and more complicated rulebook, NFL officiating often serves as a point of contention, especially as the speed of the game increases. Obviously, no one wants the game to be over-officiated. The old cliche still rings true: the best officials are the one you never notice. At the same time, consistency and transparency are crucial to the process. Both can be helped tremendously with extra sets of eyes on the field. A ball judge helps with the pace of play. The XFL expects the official to place the ball within 5 to 7 seconds after the end of the previous play. More accurate spots will also help in a game that's been refusal of adopting certain technological advancements. Like, will we ever get a ball with a computer chip in it? A sky judge is also such a unique way for the XFL to have better officiating and to make the game's outcome unskewable. The XFL sky judge also reviews plays with an Xbox controller, so that's a plus as well. My next favorite, this is my favorite overall, is the open access process of the XFL. Everything is available for the fans to immerse themselves in the XFL game day experience. This is both a positive and a negative. The NFL will never allow broadcasts to air play calls or conversations between a head coach / offensive coordinator and his quarterback in real time. Too much of a competitive advantage can be gained from these unique interactions. At the same time, a more open atmosphere could add to the drama and intensity of professional football. The XFL is still finding the right balance with its in-game player and coach interviews, but the overall interaction is absolutely fascinating. Having a microphone in front of a kicker right after he misses a field goal attempt, or in front of a player discussing what just occurred on the field after a skirmish, is great television. Access is everything in a world dominated completely by social media, immersive games, and innumerable entertainment options. This is my favorite addition to the XFL. On-the-field interviews are absolutely amazing. You get to see nothing but pure passion and the heat-of-the-moment reactions, and I love it. Next is the extra point system. There will be no kicked extra points in the NFL. Instead, teams choose from one of 3 options after scoring a touchdown. They can attempt a play from the 2-yard line for 1 point, from the 5-yard line for 2 points, or from the 10-yard line for 3 points. A defensive return of a turnover is worth the same number of points as the offense was attempting to score. This idea, in my opinion, is cool. I think giving teams what isn't a guaranteed 7 points, because if you're an average kicker, extra point missing will be an extreme rarity, will make the game more interesting in a lot of ways. More unique scoring, and teams will be able to make statements with either their extremely potent offense or their lockdown defense. The final rule that I would like to go over is an improvement over the NFL. Those are the overtime rules. This is a fun one. Overtime shall consist of 5 rounds, staged in alternating single-play possessions. A round will consist of 1 offensive play per team. Each possession starts at the opponent's 5-yard line, and the offensive team has 1 play to score. The team with more points after 5 rounds is automatically the winner. If a team has been mathematically eliminated before all 5 rounds have been completed, the game ends immediately. Example, if Team A scores on its first 3 attempts and Team B is stopped on its first 3 attempts, there will be no subsequent plays because they aren't necessary. If teams are tied after 5 rounds, then rounds continue until one team is leading at the conclusion of a round. and that team will be the winner. For scoring purposes, each successful overtime score is worth 2 points. The defensive team cannot score, and if the offensive team commits a turnover, the play is over immediately. If the defensive team commits a penalty, the offensive team will be allowed to reattempt from the 1-yard line. All overtimes will have the visiting team on offense first and home team on defense first. Every round will repeat this format. In overtime, the end zone where the overtime takes place will be determined at the 90-minute meeting. Now, you heard that. Now, let's go over the current NFL rule. The NFL has a 10-minute overtime period where each team must possess or have the opportunity to possess the ball unless the team that gets the ball first scores a touchdown. That is so stupid. A coin toss determines which team will possess the ball first in overtime. If neither team wins in the overtime period, the game ends in a tie. I find this a huge improvement over the NFL rules. Sudden death is extremely stupid and simply depends on who has momentum or who gets the ball first. It's dumb. This adds a more entertaining conflict that will for sure get fans riled up. I think many of us can say our favorite NFL team has been screwed over by these extremely one-sided and flat-out stupid overtime rules. I think the XFL, even if they're just to say they're a league complement, can use these creative ideas to be a huge league competitor. Vince McMahon operated the WWE. He specializes in entertainment. The money, thought, and straight-out execution will be the success of this league. They have that down pat. Now it's up to the fans to see if they're willing to stick around and see it through. Thank you guys so much for watching this video of the NFL Hub. I know we covered the XFL, but one of you asked for it, so that's what we're doing today. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a fun one to make. I love the XFL and their new rules. I'm ashamed I had to say this, but go Vipers. Thank you guys so much for watching this video of the NFL Hub. I appreciate you for clicking on this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, do all that fancy stuff, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Adios.